The All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council has postponed the kickoff of its campaigns earlier slated for Wednesday. Director General of the Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council and Governor of Plateau State Simon Lalong disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday. According to him, the adjustment of the timetable and schedule of activities was done to accommodate growing interest shown by various political tendencies in the party to be part of the campaign council. He noted that a new date for the kickoff would be announced soon. For that story, Arise analyst Kayode Otitoju joins us now to share his perspective. Good to have you again on Newsday.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. What do you make of this postponement? Are there severe implications, or what do you think?
You see, PDP had already set the standard. And even after they set the standard, they came back again to adjust and added names of people that were omitted. Now you have about 10 advisors, among them Secondus, among them Charaki. So now they can say they have a complete, council. So APC is imitating. And instead of announcing and inaugurating, they want to do everything together. Maybe they want to expand the list. So after expansion, then they can do the inauguration. But I know there was pressure from some governors, that were edged out. To me, I don't think any governor is edged out, because some of the governors that competed with Asiwaju for presidential primaries have been absorbed. People like Yaya of Kogi has been made the coordinator of the youth. Akeredolu of Ondo has been made to coordinate the Southwest. But Fayemi, I haven't seen his name or holding a significant distance. Maybe because by the time he left the stage for Tinubu, the Tinubu people, had been disappointed in him. Okay? And so when they are compiling the list, it's just put aside. Instead, Dayo Adeyeye, who is a diehard of Tinubu, was picked from Ekiti to represent Southwest. So Lalong is already DG, okay? Then even Apabio, former governor, has been given position. So there is no governor, sitting governor, or ex-governor that has not been incorporated. But there is still always room for addition. And, it's better to get in well fine-tuned and put in place before you do your inauguration. And after inauguration, the work starts. And I think work really starts from tomorrow, because I think the campaign starts on the 28th, which is tomorrow. Yeah.
Talking about inclusivity, that seems to be the big word today. Critics are still talking about the absence of Vice President Yomi Osinbajo from this list. Now, of course, it has been stated that he needs to keep the government operational because the president himself is the chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council. Now, with his absence and the absence of other senior Christian representatives, Christian Association, representatives, who've been open about their opposition to the ticket, Yakubu Dogara and Babachir Lawal and their forum. Has this campaign council done enough to address the concern by Christians in the hierarchy of the APC that this ticket will indeed represent their interests?
Well, for excluding the vice president, we learned that it was the president that said, okay, excuse him so that he could be, handling the handing over and all with him. So, agreed. But even then, let's say the president didn't say they should exclude them. The people, the planning committee that nominate and ratify people who will be in the council, they wouldn't have put Osinbajo or Kayode Fayemi. Because these are people that Tinubu really brought up to the limelight politically. And Tinubu showed interest in presidency. And you came up to be competing with him. In Yoruba land, Baba Adebanjo, Tabi, talk. And I said in Yoruba land, we respected that. In Yoruba land, when Tinubu, we still remember Salami Gate now. And the cock, oh, okay, you were still young then.
I still read history. I'm old enough to read.
Okay. Fayemi would have become governor, but Justice Salami assisted.
Are we saying they hold no electoral value?
Through Tinubu. And by so doing, he got his seat back, Fayemi. So with that alone in Yoruba land, he was not supposed to compete.
But sorry.
So I'm still on point.
Okay.
So with that, we are not having Osinbajo because Osinbajo was nominated, so to say, by Tinubu to become vice president. Kayode Fayemi competed until when he knew he won't get up to 2 votes and now said, I step down for my brother. You don't do that. So the body language, Tinubu may be pragmatic and be, to accept that, but the people around Tinubu will not allow. It's like a monkey that left the bush and get domesticated. So after some time, he wants to go back to the bush. And that monkey will chase because it's already polluted. So that's it.
A part of those who were excluded from, besides the vice president, were also, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, the former Minister of State for Education, Babachir Lawal as well. So there are suggestions that this postponement is actually a, classic case of crisis management, especially since they didn't give a date as to how long this need for expansion
we can't rule that out.
Would last.
We can't rule that out because refined people like Nwajuba, that's the Minister of State Education. Such people, they have brain, they have connection, they must be there. Then Babasha Lawal and they must still persuade them because they were speaking the voice of Muslim, of a Christian. And to be inclusive, you don't just
dismiss or sideline.
So I know they will be persuaded. And if they are not in the campaign council or in the campaign council, they will be given good place. Like even the current secretary to the government, a Christian. His name, I don't think, is there. So all those people will be persuaded. And if they agree, they will still incorporate. And if they don't agree, there are ways of bringing them into the fold when, the ships are down and they have to now nominate people who will, if they win, if the party wins, people who will now form the cabinet and what have you.
But is there still room for that accommodation? We had Babachir Lawal, last week, I believe it was.
Never say never.
Politics, it's not over until it's over.
Never say never.
Okay.
But you know what I'd like to backtrack to? Yesterday you made a statement that I'm going to bring up. You said, when campaigns start, we will separate the men from the boys. Now we have a ruling party that we are uncertain as to when the ruling party will launch their own campaign. What does this say about the state of the ruling party that have had all the time in the world and have all the resources in the world as well to prepare for this huge election, and they're failing to start?
If you look at the paper today, you see Pa Adeboye going to the north. What's the name of the state now? I learned that's his first time of going there for a certain crusade and whatever. All those are strategies, okay? What if through Adeboye, some of these people are persuaded and they fall in line? Now that weather is getting late, no, work is going underground. Okay, like Yahaya Bello, Abi, of Kogi, in charge of the youth. It's already bringing the youth together. By the time it starts his 100 million man march, everywhere will be subsumed by APC. So work is going on, just like that of PDP. The first nominate, or the first announced the first list, and later they now added to it as advisors, this, advisors, that. Okay? So, and since it's indefinitely means it could be tomorrow. The difference between short run and long run is what it takes for changes to be.
But while work is going on, the presidential candidate himself is in London and has been said to be resting. What do we make of these?
Don't mind people, you know. Traveling abroad doesn't mean you rest. I could remember late Chief Abiola. He does most of his, networking and whatever when he's in the plane. Okay? So, talking less of when he's in hotel. So, there are sometimes you just want to be. Who knows whether your chairman is somewhere now strategizing on where he is. And to a layman, they may say, oh, he's somewhere sleeping or somewhere junketeering. So people, once you are at the helm of affairs, every second you think of how your organization, moves forward. And for someone who is already presidential candidate, no moment is idle.
Well, APC has, first of all, a very horrible track record, obviously.
Track record of what?
The last 7 years?
Oh, yeah.
Having hell on earth?
Yeah. No, so, we can't wait for them to pack and go.
Yes, waiting earnestly. But we've seen yesterday the presidential candidates. Actually, he spoke about the Afenifere leader. Basically he didn't approve of the fact that he endorsed Peter Obi. That's the first one. Then this one happens today, where we're seeing that they're not ready for the campaigns. And before that, they sidelined the likes of Babachir Lawal and all those that had been very vocal about them not approving of the Muslim ticket. This does not necessarily look good, and the timing is horrible or impeccable depending on what perspective you're looking at. So what message does this send to the electorate who might have actually been, still vying for another, a repeat of history of what just happened in the past 7 years?
I think it's always better to prepare for an exam very well than to get to the exam and start jiffing or giraffing to see whether your colleagues have better answer. What they are doing is they want to put everything properly, and if it's inclusiveness and representation, they want to do everything before they inaugurate. And once they inaugurate, the work kicks up.
That's simple, right? If only it was that easy to win an election. But let's look at what has been called, I will use the word crisis, the crisis within the PDP and the crisis within the APC. And let's put these two situations next to the growing movement that is the Labour Party and the Obedience. Do you still maintain the same sentiment that with cracks in the two major parties, there's no room for an obedient movement to make inroads?
I think the parties are really solving their internal problems. For instance, today now, we found that Secondus has been made. Secondus is a force to be reckoned with in Rivers, if not more popular than Wike. Okay? So I know him. I told you our board, he was in NICOM. That's NICOM is the insurance arm of government. I was in Security and Exchange Commission, and we were inaugurated same day. And ever since, out of almost 50 of us, that is 6 or 7 per board times 10, okay, under Ministry of Finance, is the highest person in politics so far, because we watch ourselves, we watch how we are moving. So it's a fantastic guy. So that is already handling Wike, I won't say rigidity. Then in APC, Muslim. People are working just to see that actually they pacify the Christian. So all this, by the time everything is put together, obedient, yes, it's working. In fact, just as I said yesterday, he has really geared other parties up, and they know that they have to get things right. They shouldn't make mistake. If they make mistake, there is a party, there that could
waiting in the corridors of power.
And again, the obedient. In fact, when I discuss with some friends, it's like it's spoiling things for PDP. Because most of the people that they will get from Southeast are people that were already PDP or traditionally PDP. And if they continue letting him loose and they don't work hard, okay, it will soften, things for Tinubu of APC, because once you weaken PDP in Southeast, and you, from the look of things, you can't become president yet because the structure is not there and the coverage is not there. You will only spoil it for PDP if care is not taken. So, there are some things that I can't just understand, what is going on.
All right, well, that's one way to look at it. I'm sure many people would feel that a dent can be made at the ruling party as well, but I think that's another conversation for another day. Mr. Otitoju, thank you so much for your time. You'll be back with us, so we can pick this up, won't we? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you on Friday.
Exactly, all right.